Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. I have a question for you guys. Can you go out and buy a good quality or even a decent quality designer fragrance for $20? And no cheating, I'm talking about a 100 ml bottle size. Can you do that? Well, in this video, I'm going to answer that question for you. The fragrance that I'm going to talk about in this video is from the House of Iceberg and it's called Change the Flow. This is how the bottle looks on its own. It's a very simple design, feels a bit cheap. The cap is very light and feels cheap, but it fits snugly into place. On the top of the cap itself, you can see the iceberg, Change the Flow on the front. The bottle size is 100 ml and the concentration is EDT. Now, the whole sort of bottle design is quite cheap, but I guess in this case you get what you pay for. So let's next talk about the actual scent profile of Change the Flow. Okay, let's talk about the scent profile now. I'm actually wearing this at the moment. I sprayed this fragrance about an hour ago, so I have the dry down on my right hand. I'll show you the sprayer on my left hand so you can see how it works. The sprayer is actually quite nice. It's pressurized so you can control the amount of fragrance that you spray. Okay, so the official notes as per Fragrantica are top notes ginger, saffron and bitter orange, middle notes are tobacco leaf and leather, and the base notes are sandalwood and cedar wood. Now I'll tell you what I pick up and what I don't from that note breakdown. In the opening you definitely feel that spiciness that comes from the saffron note. Also, there's a bit of a sweetness from that orange note. The orange in this fragrance doesn't feel fresh at all, doesn't feel citrusy. It's like dark and sweet type of an orange. And you also get maybe a tad bit of a freshness from the ginger note, but that's not very prominent at all. The opening is sweet and spicy, let's call it that. Now, once the fragrance starts to enter, it dry down, that tobacco note starts to come up, starts to become a lot more prominent, and in fact it's one of the main notes on the dry down, along with that leather note. Now the leather note in this fragrance doesn't play a major role. It's more like plays more of a supporting role to that tobacco leaf. You also get some woodiness from I can't say that I pick up a lot of cedar. I pick up maybe a little bit more of a sandalwood that gives this fragrance a bit of a nice sort of a velvety touch. There's also some additional sweetness from a note that's not been listed on Fragrantica. To my nose, it's something like an amber or vanilla, something like that, that adds a little bit of a sweetness on the dry down. But all in all, you get a sweet, slightly spicy, sweet and spicy opening with a slight touch of freshness. And then on the dry down, you get a nice mix of tobacco, leather, and some vanilla or amber sweetness. The next thing that I want to talk about is how similar this fragrance is to other fragrances out there. Now, first of all, I want to say that this is definitely not a clone fragrance. This is a unique creation by the House of Iceberg, but they were definitely inspired by some other fragrances. Now, especially on the dry down, this fragrance carries vibes from a lot of different fragrances. You can catch up a bit of the tobacco vanilla vibe from Tom Ford because of that tobacco and I think vanilla note in this fragrance that you get. You also, because of the way that the tobacco note has been used in here, it shares some similarities to Pure Havana from Thierry Mugler as well. Because of the spicy and tobacco mix in this fragrance, you also get some vibes from the Spice Bomb and Spice Bomb Extreme. You even may get some distant sort of vibes from fragrances like Dolce & Gabbana The One as well, because of that tobacco note in this fragrance. So all in all, this is a very interesting fragrance, whereas on one hand it's I think a unique creation from the House of Iceberg, but then on the other hand it carries a lot of similarities to a lot of other fragrances out there. Now let's talk about performance. Now this fragrance, the sort of the staying power or the longevity on skin has actually been pretty good considering the concentration. This is an EDT concentration of a fragrance, and considering the price point of this fragrance, I get about 7 to 8 hours on my skin. The problem with this fragrance is the projection. Now this is not a loud fragrance at all. You initially, once you spray this fragrance, you get sort of a decent projection in the first about hour. After that, it starts to sit really close to the skin. Now, let's talk about the price. As I said in the beginning of this video, I was able to get the whole gift set that I showed you, the fragrance itself plus a shower gel, for less than $20, the equivalent of $20. Now, Notino are running regular sales here in Europe where they sell their, they do discounts on their gift sets, and that's how I was able to snatch this one for less than $20. You can also get the fragrance on its own, and again you'll probably end up paying less than $20. And at the end, let's talk about versatility, who is this for, and my final thoughts about Change the Flow. Now, in my opinion, this whole scent profile, that spicy, sweet, dark, warm, tobacco-y scent profile, is not very versatile, because the best time to use this, in my opinion, is late fall and winter. Now, who is this for? If you like some of those fragrances that I mentioned earlier, you know, Tobacco Vanille, Pure Havana, Spice Bomb Extreme, Dolce & Gabbana The One, if you like that kind of, even Bulgari Men in Black as well, if you like that kind of fragrances, then I think you can check out the Change the Flow, because you'll probably end up liking this fragrance. To my nose, this is sort of like a more youthful version of all of those fragrances that I just mentioned. In my personal opinion, this is a very nice fragrance, considering the price point, considering that you're getting an Italian-made designer fragrance, 100 milliliter size. I think this fragrance, the whole scent profile and the quality punches way above its price point. So I like the Change the Flow from the House of Iceberg. So guys, in today's video, I did my review of Change the Flow from the House of Iceberg, a really nice and inexpensive designer fragrance. I hope that you found this video interesting. If you did, give it a like, subscribe to my channel, stay safe, and I'm gonna see you in my next video. Bye bye.